Welcome back, everybody. So today I wanted to talk about cartridge case design. Obviously metallic cartridge. This is the little display I've put together over years of collecting various bits of spent brass and projectiles, and then obviously putting them in this display case. So I've got quite a variety of cartridges here, all the way from 20mm being the largest, all the way down to your 22 and your 17 rimfire cartridges. So there's a few things you need to know about case design. So the first one is all cartridges can be either defined as a straight wall or a bottleneck. So most of your pistol cartridges that you see up here are straight wall cases. The walls do have a very, very minor taper in them, but generally speaking they are straight, with the exception of the 5.7 or 5.7mm and of course the 357 SIG. They are still bottleneck pistol cases, which kind of are a little bit of an anomaly. They're out there, but they're not as common. And then of course you move to something like a rifle case here. This is the 6.5 Creedmoor. As you can see, it has a tapering shoulder, which makes it a bottleneck case. You still can get straight wall cases in rifle. If you come here and look at something like the 30 carbine, that is a straight wall case. Other straight wall rifle cases are things like 450 Bushmaster, 4570, bits and pieces like that. Once you do have determined either straight wall or bottleneck, then there's three types of rims of case design. So you have these here which are called rimless cases. Now they are distinguished by what is called an extractor groove. So generally speaking, the head of the case is the same diameter as the wall of the case. Now there are exceptions, like the 20mm here, where the actual case head is smaller in diameter than the walls of the case. Then you have cases that are rimmed. So the 303 British over here, the 762x54R, the R being for rimmed, and other cartridges like your 3030. So the big difference between a rimless case and a rimmed case is how they are head spaced in your chamber. A rimmed case like this 3030 here is head spaced on the thickness of the rim. Now, a little while ago I did a video where I was talking about 303 British, which is this case here, and I explained that modern brass manufacturers sometimes produce a thinner case rim, and this will largely affect your head space. Now, a bottleneck case, let's take this 300 Winchester short magnum here, or 300 WSM. It is head spaced on the shoulder. Now it's not head spaced at the top or the bottom, it's head spaced on the datum line, which is approximately halfway through. Okay, there is special gauges for checking that. Hornady make a headspace comparator set, which you've seen in a previous video where I talked about setting up full-length seating dies, and so that's head spaced from the head of the case to the datum line on the shoulder. Now obviously the head of the case will be sitting against the breech face of your firearm. Now when it comes to something like a straight wall rimless case, you don't have a shoulder to head space on, and you don't have a rim to head space on. So they are actually head spaced on the front face or the front edge of the neck. And this is where it becomes a little bit more technical. If you're shooting a straight wall case, generally speaking, the brass should never grow. It may grow a minute amount over multiple firings, but not enough to be significant. If your brass in a straight wall case is growing, you're doing something wrong. So this is head spaced from the head of the case or the breech face to the neck. And that is why it is really important, if you shoot a straight wall rimless case, that you make sure all your brass is the same length. There's one more type of case that we need to talk about, and with modern design it is becoming less common, but it is a belted magnum. So I have two belted magnums here in the case. One is a 300 Win Mag and the other is a 7mm Rem Mag. And so these are belted magnums, and you can see this little belt forward of the extractor groove. So with a belted magnum, it headspaces between the belt and the head of the case, or breech face. So this was a design originally for revolving machine guns, but it was later used in magnums. With modern case technology and modern firearms, these belts are basically no longer required. So you won't see any new calibers being developed with a belted case. It's a thing of the past, but obviously with the popularity of calibers like 300 Win Mag, it's going to be around for a lot longer yet. The other thing is case material. So the majority of these cases here are all brass, with the exception of a few. So you'll notice the three Russian cases, the 7.62x39, the 5.45x39, and the 7.62x54R, are all lacquer-coated steel cases. This is a purely a cost-out situation. Most steel cases you'll find are actually burden primed and cannot be reloaded with common practices that we talk about. So all your other cartridges, generally speaking, if you're buying newly manufactured and not military surplus cartridges, they will be boxer primed. Now the difference being a boxer primer has a single flash hole in the center, whereas a burden primed case has two flash holes. So if you try and run a decapping rod down into a burden case, you will break your decapping rod or come to an abrupt stop, hopefully the second. So it pays if you are picking up brass or you've been given brass, particularly in, say, like a NATO caliber, and definitely with your Russian or your military surplus ammunition, check the primer type. And that can be done obviously with a dispensed cartridge by looking down the neck towards the web and the head of the case here and seeing whether it has two holes or one. The other thing is you will see some pistol cartridges out there that are silver, and they are just simply nickel plated cases. So a couple of different ideas. Obviously the brass is the one that we're looking for, and you'll see most often, purely because it's a softer material. It allows it to expand during the firing process and grip the chamber walls. It has a certain amount of elasticity to return. It won't entirely return to its original shape, but it will return down far enough that it will be removable from the chamber. And then brass being malleable enough, you are able to lubricate and resize that case. So that's a bit about the general case design. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I release new videos every Friday, so hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on anything. See you in the next one.